Hello everyone. In today's lecture, we will start with Unit 2 of Biology for Engineers, that is Adoption of Anatomical Principles for Engineering. The first topic is Sliding Filament Theory of Muscle Contraction, which is analogous to sliding plates in machinery. At the end of this lecture, you will know why and how do muscles contract. Okay, we have studied in the previous lecture on membrane potential, the structure of a muscle fiber overview, the parts of a muscle fiber, the sliding filament theory, that is how the actin slides over myosin leading to muscle contraction, and the application of this sliding filament theory in sliding parts in machinery, microscope and cameras, and other applications where the same mechanism is adapted. So we'll just summarize why and how do muscles contract. Muscles contract when they have to perform work. So if the muscle contracts to create a movement, it is called as isotonic contraction. So here there are two types, concentric and eccentric. Muscle shortens as the fibers contract, and in eccentric, the muscle lengthens when the fiber contracts. So if you have muscle contraction with no movement, then it is termed as isometric contraction. So this is how the entire process of muscle contraction takes place. We've studied this in detail in the lecture on membrane potential. The action potential reaches the neuromuscular junction, which is the nerve impulse, resulting in the opening of calcium channels, resulting in the release of acetylcholine, which results in stimulation of sodium channels. Sodium travels along the entire length of the muscle fiber, and the calcium in the sarcoplasmic reticulum will attach to a molecule called as troponin, which is present on actin. Actin is one of the proteins that makes up the sarcomere of the muscle. And then when this happens, ATP is broken down, resulting in the release of energy. Using this energy, the head of the myosin moves back, resulting in sliding of actin over it. This results in shortening of the sarcomere, the myofibril and the entire muscle, which is termed as muscle contraction. So this parts of the muscle fiber we have studied in the previous lecture. You have the muscle fiber, which is made up of myofibrils, which are divided into a sarcomere. A sarcomere is formed by the presence of myosin and actin. Okay, so this is a more advanced picture. You have the sarcoplasm, which is the cytoplasm of the muscle cell. The outermost covering is called as the sarcolemma, and you have nuclei on the muscle fiber. So a myofibril is enlarged and it looks like this. Okay, so you have the thick filament and the thin filament. This portion constitutes a sarcomere. So now let us see the structure of actin and myosin. A sarcomere is made up of actin and myosin filaments. The myosin filament is present at the center, the one which is shown in green color, and it consists of two heavy chains, and at the hinge region of myosin the heads are present. Okay, so it is coiled. The two heavy chains are coiled across each other, at the end of which you have the heads. So this myofilament is thicker. This is connected to actin myofilaments, which are present on either sides by means of a cross bridge. The myofilament actin is a thinner molecule. Okay, it is thinner in size. So now if you look at the band arrangement, at the center you have the thicker myosin myofilament. So that region where the myosin myofilaments are present, they are called as the A band, or it constitutes the A band. On either sides you have the thin filaments, right, which are made up of actin. Okay, the thin filaments are constituted of actin, and the region where they are present are termed as the I bands. And this is the Z band or the Z disc where the actin filaments are connected. So now let us see the sliding filament theory. The sliding filament theory was proposed in the year 1954 by two pairs of scientists. So according to them, the muscle contraction happens because of the sliding of actin over myosin. This results in the shortening of the sarcomere, that is the structure that you saw there in the previous slide, and the myofibrils, resulting to the muscle contraction. Muscle relaxation is reverse. When the actin comes back to its original position, you have elongation of the sarcomeres and myofibrils, and this is termed as the muscle relaxation. So during this process, there is no change in the length of actin and myosin. The length of these two proteins remains the same. The shortening happens just because of the sliding action. And the shortening sarcomeres which are present due to this sliding action is the one that is responsible for muscle contraction. Shortening of sarcomeres. So this picture shows how the sarcomere looks when it is in the relaxed state and what happens when the contraction happens. So in the relaxed state, the centralmost band is the A band, like I said in the previous slide, which is made up of myosin filaments, and the I bands are made up of actin filaments. So during contraction, what happens is the actin filaments slide over myosin. So when this happens, the A band, the centralmost A band, it remains constant. Okay, that is the myosin, no changes happen when it comes to myosin, so it remains constant. But the I band which is present, that shortens because actin will slide over myosin on both the sides. This results in shortening of the I band. And at the end of the actin, end of the sarcomere, the actin is bound to the Z bands. Okay, this region that you see is called as the Z bands. So when this happens, the sarcomere shortens because the I band shortens, resulting in the shortening of myofibrils, leading to the muscle contraction. Okay, so the entire muscle becomes small, short, which is called as contraction of muscles. So now to explain this, we have an example. Here you can see that there's a person at the center whose arms are stretched and they are bound to rope, and the ropes either sides, it is tied to the bookcases. Okay, so here the arms, let us consider that arms of the person. Okay, these are the myosin present in the A band. Okay, the rope is the actin filament, right? Actin filaments, this region, which is the I band. Okay, and the book cases which are present here, they are the Z band. So here what happens is the man, he does not move his arms. Okay, the arm lengths, they become same, they remain the same, that is they do not change, that is analogous to the A band. He only pulls the Z bands, that is the bookcases, with the help of this rope. So when this happens, only the length of the rope shortens, that is your I band shortens, and the bookcases, they come closer to each other, that is the Z bands which are present, they come closer to each other. So this is just an example of one sarcomere, the movement of one sarcomere. But what happens is the entire muscle fibril is made up of sarcomeres which are lying side by side. So the entire myofibril will shorten, resulting in the shortening of the muscle. The concept of this sliding of actin over myosin, that is called as the sliding filament theory, is applied in engineering and machinery for different aspects. So this is the pressure plate. As the name implies, this is used to apply pressure to the clutch disc for transfer of torque to the transmission. This pressure plate, when it is attached with the clutch disc and the flywheel, it helps in the flow of power from the engine to the transmission. Okay, so this pressure plate is attached to the clutch housing and to the diaphragm spring. So this pressure plate which is there, it is bolted to the engine flywheel. So what happens is, it is used to, like I said, it is used to exert the pressure against the clutch plate, and this holds the plate against the flywheel. So when this happens, the power starts flowing from the engine to the transmission. So when the clutch is pressed or used, the disc which is present, this disc that you can see, it is squeezed between the flywheel and the pressure plate. Okay, so this pressure plate basically is like a spring, and it helps in the transmission of power. So this is in machinery. And when it comes to your camera and microscopes, you have something called as lens mounts, okay, in the cameras. So this lens mount which is there, it is the section for connecting the lens to the camera's body. So the lenses are attached to the camera. You have attachable lenses, exchangeable lenses. They are attached to the lenses by sliding the lens along the surface of this lens mount. Okay, so this is how the concept of your sliding filament theory is applied in engineering. And you have variety of other applications where this principle is applied in one way or the other, such as in automotive industries, plastic injection molding machines and injection molding tools, mechanical engineering, steel making plants and rolling mills. It's also used in construction and brick industries, in dam systems and hydropower engineering, shipbuilding, welding technology, packing industries, crane and conveying engineering. So with this, we have reached the end of the first topic on sliding filament theory and how it is applied in engineering and machinery and different aspects. Thank you.